Today's topic is Spider-Man. Both Spider-Man Homecoming and Into the Spider-Verse explore the multiverse, introducing countless Spider-Man variants. Comics, of course, are no different. In this video, I'll cover 7 top multiverse Spider-Man. I bet you don't know the last 2. Let's dive in. Check it out. 2 quick messages before we continue. First, hit that like button and smash the notification bell. We post 2 to 3 times daily. My team and I aim to brighten your day amidst the daily grind and negative news. We keep you informed, entertained, and happy. If you're new here, I'm Rodrigo Baus, the channel's founder. Nice to meet you. Hey, consider subscribing to the channel to spice up your week a bit. Second point, if you want to go pro, live entirely off the internet, maybe you hate your job, Rodrigo. I only work to pay the bills. Otherwise, I'd kick it to the curb and do what I love, you know? The internet might be your ticket to going pro and getting that freedom you're after. I've got 7 income streams. Started in 2016 making 2, then 3, then 5 grand. Then 2 years later in 2018, I retired. See that, Rodrigo? Well, I quit the 9 to 5 grind. Now I run my own online business. All right, let's dive into the 7 best Spider-Man versions across movie, comic, and animation multiverses. Let's go. Number 1, Miles Morales. Peter Parker may be the most famous Spider-Man in Marvel Comics, but in recent years, Miles Morales has stolen some of the spotlight. Created by Brian Michael Bendis and Sarah Pichelli, Miles became a household name since his debut in 2011. The young hero of Black and Latino descent took up the mantle a few years ago, becoming so popular he starred in Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, and its sequels. Miles Gonzalo Morales is from Earth 1610, where Marvel's Ultimate Universe takes place. His story begins when Norman Osborn was arrested by S.H.I.E.L.D., allowing the Prowler to break into the villain's company. During the break-in, a spider modified with the OZ formula snuck into the Prowler's backpack. The Prowler is Aaron Davis, Miles' uncle, whose criminal past and present made him a bad influence in his parents' eyes. Shortly after the robbery, Miles visits his uncle and gets bitten by the spider from Harold's backpack. The young man quickly realizes he's gained superpowers. Miles tells his best friend Gank Lee, and they notice he has powers similar to Spider-Man's. At first, he dislikes this and wants to avoid heroism, preferring a normal life. 2 months later, Peter Parker dies fighting Norman Osborn while saving his family. Feeling guilty, Miles adopts Parker's motto, "With great power comes great responsibility," and decided to become the new Spider-Man. Miles has made numerous comedic appearances solo and in teams, debuted in animated TV shows, video games, and starred in the Oscar-winning Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. 2. Spider-Gwen. A recent creation, she's already a fan-favorite Marvel character. We're talking about Spider-Gwen, or just Spider-Woman if you prefer. She's an alternate Gwen Stacy who got Spider-Man's powers instead of Peter Parker. To give you an idea of how new she is to Marvel's stories, Spider-Gwen was only created in 2014 by Jason Latour and Rob Rodriguez. Yet she's so popular she's been in TV shows, video games, and the animated Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie. Gwen Stacy with Spider-Man's powers comes from Earth 65, one of Marvel's many alternate realities. Gwen is George and Helen Stacy's daughter, but lost her mom young. Her strict cop dad often clashed with her free-spirited nature. Artistic and introspective, she joined a band and played drums. A stern cop dad, a wild daughter, drums, angst, and rebellion. This clash was inevitable. Losing his wife made him more protective of his daughter. Over time, who did she befriend? Peter Parker, sharing a passion for music in this reality. They became very close, even best friends. One day, who bit her? A modified spider, giving her Spider-Man's powers, like Aerith or Issy. Actually, Aerith and Issy really exist here. She became a heroine, and the media dubbed her Spider-Woman. The media named her Spider-Woman just like Chiruki. The media gave Chiruk that name too. Anyway, with Janet Van Dyne's help, you know her. She's the original Wasp. Hank Pym's wife, the first Ant-Man. So Janet Van Dyne helped her get her suit and web shooters. At first, Gwen used her powers for fame, but changed after hearing her dad talk about Spider-Woman fighting crime. It wasn't long before Gwen faced a major life tragedy. Remember, Spider-Man always had a big tragedy to push him towards great power and responsibility. Peter Parker, a Spider-Woman fan, wanted her powers and did experiments. However, this transformed him into a human-lizard hybrid. He stayed smart, everything else, just like normal Peter Parker. But instead of Spider-Man, he became a lizard. Pretty wild, huh? Crazy, right? With no choice, Gwen faced him. Peter died after turning human again. No proof of his change, so Spider-Woman was blamed for Peter's death. To clear her name and honor Peter, Gwen fought crime even harder. So in this case, it was the tragedy of Peter Parker's death. Number 3, Spider-Man 2099. Created in 1992 by Peter David and Rick Leonard, Miguel O'Hara is a unique Spider-Man variant known as Spider-Man 2099. This futuristic version, geneticist Miguel O'Hara recreates Spider-Man's powers for himself, but with unexpected side effects. O'Hara leads the company's genetic engineering division. After a forced experiment turns his subject into a monster and kills it, he resigns. To keep him, his boss Tyler Stoney gives O'Hara a highly addictive Alchemax drug he was working on. The plan was to make him crave the substance so much that he'd have to stay with the company to get it. Perceptive, Miguel O'Hara sees through Stoney's plan and tries to stop the drug's effect by replicating the experiment that killed his test subject. What he didn't anticipate was that his attempt to save himself would be sabotaged, consequently altering his DNA combined with that of a spider. That's where the spider comes in. Miguel O'Hara's DNA was then rewritten by the experiment, granting him powers equivalent to those Peter Parker possessed. So there you have it, Spider-Man 2099 is confirmed for the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse sequel for Spider-Ham. One of the quirkiest and most beloved alternate Spider-Man versions might be Peter Parker, the spectacular Spider-Ham. Peter was initially a spider, believe it or not, living in scientist May Parker's basement. She was developing the first atomic hairdryer, and after testing it, she bit the spider. The pig then bit the spider, turning Peter into a pig. Yeah, pig, spider pig, spider pig. Remember Homer Simpson doing that? The story doesn't end with the spider bite. The kid left home dazed, dodged a car, and realized he had spider powers, but as a pig. Back at Mrs. Parker's, he recalls Peter as his nephew, not his spider pal from the basement. She forgets being a scientist. He takes the name Peter Parker, decides to help others, and creates web shooters and a suit to become Spider-Pig. This was needed as he lost natural web making but gained May Porcher's smarts. Created by Hama, DeFalco, and Armstrong, Spider-Pig guards Earth 8311. Full of pun-based, cartoon-like animal villains. Spider-Pig starred in his own comics and was voiced by John Mulaney in Spider-Verse. Number 5, Punk Spider. Created by Dan Slott and Oliver Coppel in 2015, Spider-Punk might be one of the most visually unique Spider-Man designs. Originally a homeless teen named Robert Brown, Spider-Punk gets powers from toxic waste dumped by President Osborn and rallies the community against Osborn's militia. He then featured in Spider-Geddon and remained popular due to appearances in animations and the recent Marvel Spider-Man video game. Now let's see if you know these last two Spider-Men. Speaking of Mayday, inheriting the Spider-Man mantle, a 1980 story by Steve Skates and Alan Kupferberg, introduced May Renee Parker gaining powers and joining the superhero roster. May became a crime fighter after a radioactive spider bit her while she was delivering lunch to Peter. Though May rarely appeared in later comics, she remains a unique twist on Spider-Man's origin and the Parker relationship. So it's Aunt May as Spider-Man. 7. Web-Slinger's comic is known as the unauthorized book of the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. In this monster version, Peter Parker's been fascinated by spiders since childhood. As an adult, he visits Weeby Woods, a hideout for criminals and home to the mysterious Web Widow. Peter finds the legendary creature and convinces her to give him all her powers. She, a sorceress, sets a condition. He must never use his power for personal gain, which he violates after saving his Uncle Ben. As punishment, she transforms the boy into a grotesque human spider hybrid who tries to protect the city despite facing contempt. Pretty wild, huh? Bonus for those still here. Number 8, Spider-Man, created by Christopher Ginge and George Molina in 2018. On the horror side, we have Spider-Man, plural, a truly terrifying version of the Webhead born from Peter Parker's death in Universe 11580. During a lab visit, the boy fell into a massive colony of radioactive spiders and was devoured. The spiders assimilated Parker, forming a humanoid body controlled by the colony's collective consciousness. So it's a human-like body, but actually made of spiders, like Spider-Man. It's like grains of sand, but spiders forming Peter Parker's body. That's wild. Peter Parker is dead, huh? Besides Spidey's usual powers, this Spider-Man can split into millions of spiders to attack or spy on enemies. Creepy stuff. Comment below which Spider-Man you liked and which one you didn't know about. See you in the next video. Catch you later.